So for some reason, nearly everybody and their dad wants to leave the Richmond Football Club. Again, it's been kind of like a reporter's wet dream in the past couple months because you've got one of the biggest teams in all of the AFL, if not the biggest, right? Having kind of like this max exodus where you've got blokes from fucking Dustin Martin all the way to Sam Naismith retiring. And then you've got Daniel Rioli, Shea Bolton, Liam Baker, and Jack Graham all reportedly wanting to be on a different team. Again, there can be a lot of ways to look at this. A lot of negatives. First of all, Daniel Rioli is arguably Richmond's best player. In fact, he's probably going to win their best and fairest in a landslide. Shea Bolton, on the other hand, has finished top 5 in Richmond's best and fairest like I think 3 or 4 seasons in a row. He's an All-Australian a couple years ago, and when he has a big, tall key forward to row from, he's arguably the best small forward in the whole entire comp, who can also go into the midfield and get 20 to 25 plus disposals. With a lot of negatives though, sometimes in this world, there are positives. And the positives right now for Richmond arguably do outweigh the negatives because Richmond are expected to have the best draft hand in the AFL since 2012's GWS Giants. The Richmond Football Club already have the first overall pick and the first pick of the second round. And with Shea Bolton being guaranteed a contract for another 4 years and Daniel Rioli pretty much being in the same boat, Richmond pretty much has the will over all of these teams when it does come to a potential trade. If Gold Coast think they can get Daniel Rioli for a packet of Doritos and a fucking discounted chocolate bar at IGA, they would be very, very wrong. Richmond are going to come absolutely hard for these players. And whether or not you think the Tigers are going to end up with 5 picks in the top 20, 6 picks in the top 20, you know, we don't really know what they're going to get out of Baker and Graham, and they could potentially use all their 4ths and 3rds, as we know, which they have a lot of them, to trade up and get another first round pick or early second round pick. One thing I think we can all agree is there is a massive chance, in fact, a lot more likely than not, that Richmond are going to have 3 picks in the top 10 of the 2024 AFL draft. Fremantle currently have pick 9 and 10 at the time of making this video, and there's no way I think the Tigers are not going to trade, you know, Shea Bolton to them unless they can guarantee those 2 picks. Gold Coast also have, like, I think pick 5, pick 11 and pick 20 at the time of making this video. Again, that could change, but obviously I think, even though a lot of people are saying Richmond are going to get those latter 2 first round picks, I think I can guarantee you right now that Richmond are going to do everything in their power to get that pick 6, even if that means they have to throw in something different, or pick 5, whatever it is, to get this trade over the line. Again, with Ashcroft going top 3 probably as well, these picks are all going to be moved back a spot. So if my predictions are right, I think there's a big chance Richmond might have pick 1, pick 6, and pick 10 at the time of making this video. Again, this could all fucking change, who knows? And this is the funniest part, it's not even being ambitious, like, as a Richmond fan myself, because this is what everyone in the media and all the journalists are literally saying Richmond are going to do. So I thought it would be fun with you guys and actually talk about who I think Richmond should, of course, select with these picks. Again, this is coming from my official 2024 AFL mock draft. So if you guys would like to go see who I have all the other teams taking and whatnot, please go and check that out. I do highly recommend it. Again, it does go for like 25 minutes, but I like to think it's a pretty good video, so go check it out. But yeah, I guess without further ado, here's who I think Richmond should select with their projected top 10 picks. And I would say nearly everyone and their dad has a different person going at pick 1. In this year's draft, it is so wide open. Anything can change absolutely every week. Like the guy I've got going at pick 7 could be pick 1 next week. That's legitimately how crazy it is. But with a ton of research, I've formulated who I think is going to be pick 1. It was out of about 2 to 3 players, but I've actually decided to go with Jagger Smith, who is an incredibly good inside midfielder who is 181 centimeters, He played for Oakley in the under-18s competition, also trained with Richmond in the off-season, and now plays for Richmond in the last 3 games or so in their VFL team. Again, this guy genuinely plays a lot like Zach Butters and Nick Dacos. He's got that absolute class on the inside. But also, I think where he truly shines best is the same as those 2 previously mentioned guys, is when you've got a real big inside midfielder feeding it out to him, he can then go to work and kind of be a bit more like an outside midfielder as well, if that makes sense. And he's got an incredible boot on him. He's got an incredible knack of finding the footy. Again, I would say is definitely a bit too skinny right now, but we know Butters and Dacos have been pretty skinny players throughout their whole career. I'd still say Smith needs to put on about 5 to 10 kilos though. His goal kicking is not what some of the other players are, but if you're looking for a genuine inside beast who is going to rack up 40 disposals a game, this guy can absolutely do it. And I think he would be a great fit alongside Tim Taranto, who's that really big inside bull. He can obviously go and feed it out to Jagger Smith, and then I think he can go and work his magic. So again, a lot of people have this guy going at pick 1. I do agree with them. I think his ties to Richmond obviously help him as well. He's a massive Richmond fan from what I've heard. Really training with them and playing in their VFL now. Richmond have the best insight out of everyone to really know what this guy is truly going to be like in the AFL. And I think you can really see the signs are he's going to be an absolute star. If that fly fucking flies in my video one more time, bro, I'm actually going to slap him in the face with my cock. Now with the 6th overall pick, here's where we get a little bit complicated. We have the Gold Coast Suns. There is a massive chance this pick goes to Richmond, a part of the Rioli trade, especially with how Rioli's been playing as of late. Richmond are going to go hard for this pick. But either way, I think both teams would take the same guy here, and that's the best available who would fit both teams for sure, and that is Harvey Langford, the 190 centimeter inside midfielder. Fuck you. Harvey Langford is a player who has risen up so much in the last couple of weeks. Again, was ranked like 14 or 15th, I think, 2 months ago. Is now literally ranked like, I think, 3rd or 4th on Cal Toomey's mock draft. Again, I don't know if he will go that high just because of the teams that are selecting right now and whatnot. But this guy is not only a really good inside midfielder, but a guy who I really like playing down forward. I think this guy can be the prototypical 190 centimeter, big and athletic forward who really plays like a high half forward, moves up from that line and can obviously help out as an extra midfielder. I think Richmond desperately need that. They need some goal kickers and some bodies down there. Gold Coast as well really couldn't mind. In the last couple of weeks, they've moved Mac Andrew up forward, dropped Lukosius to the VFL. They've had Andrew, Walter, and King all up forward, but still just feel like they need another goal kicker in that area. And I think Harvey Langford can not only be that guy, but he adds an extra midfield option to rotate through with, you know, Anderson if you want to push him down. If Matt Rouse to the bench, obviously you can have Langford in there. If Tuke Miller even goes and plays some wing, which we know he's done as well, you can have Harvey Langford in there too. He's not only best available, but he fits the Gold Coast Suns perfectly. He fits the Tigers perfectly if they get this pick, an inside midfielder who can also go play up forward. It's kind of the dream reality for both teams if a guy like Harvey Langford can fall down to this pick. Will he? I'm not too sure. I still think that West Coast, will have Smiley over him, but they could very well go with Harvey Langford at the 4th overall pick, and maybe Smiley falls down to the 6th overall pick, and that's where things get interesting. But for this draft, I do have Harvey Langford going at pick number 6. And with the 10th overall pick, I've got the Fremantle Football Club. Again, there is a big chance that this pick goes to Richmond, a part of the Bolton trade and all of that type of stuff. I think it will be a Richmond pick, but for the sake of this video, we'll talk about how it builds positives to both teams. I actually have them selecting Luke Traynor, the 194 centimeter key defender from Sandringham. He is the best intercept defender in this whole entire draft. Again, Fremantle have really been trying to find that extra key defender, especially in the last couple weeks when Alex Pearce unfortunately went down with an injury. That is going to keep him out for the rest of the season. Again, they are currently out of the 8 at the time of making this video, I believe, which is insane to think, especially with how good they've been. But they've just had the wrong players get injured. Their main key defender getting hurt has meant that, you know, Liam Ryan has kind of had to play this more key defender kind of role instead of a 7th man, an interceptor who does the kickouts. It hasn't been pretty. It hasn't been great. He's been playing out of that position. You can tell they are looking for another key defender. And with Alex Pearce being a little bit older now and already having a really bad injury past and history, drafting a key defender here, to me, makes the most amount of sense, and you can get the best interceptor. And if we're looking at a Richmond point of view, this makes a ton of sense as well. I think they need potentially another key defender. You know, Tyler Young didn't really have a good year, and then he went down with an ACL. Ben Miller had a really good first 3 quarters of the year. The last quarter, he's looked fucking slower than me after I've invested fucking 20 kilos of KFC into my gut. And Josh Gibcus has done his ACL. He was out for the whole year. The year before that, he did massive hamstring injuries, which kept him out for the year. He had to fly to Qatar to just get his hamstrings back up to scratch. He's missed 2 full years of AFL. And even though I pray and I hope for him, touch wood, that he can get back, who really knows at this rate? And then Noah Bolter has had to play as their full forward because Tom Lynch is always injured. And even if Tom Lynch does stay healthy, I kind of feel like you need Noah Bolter down there just to take pressure off him for now, while you probably draft a key forward and let him develop for a couple years. So this pick also makes a ton of sense for Richmond. Luke Traynor, whether Gibcus comes back from his injury, let's just say he does, him and Gibcus together and probably Ben Miller still makes a ton of sense, especially with Bolter up forward. And if unfortunately he can't get back and Ben Miller still plays some stinker footy, you've finally got a really good young key forward down there who you can really look up to and know you've got an invested future in. So this works well for both teams. But of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below of my official 2024 AFL mock draft. I'd very much like to know your thoughts and opinions down below. Subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/Long channel and this channel for all the latest sports content and news. But yeah, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.